cookbook author Sandra Gutierrez, author of the new Southern-Latino table. And I'm very excited to be showcasing one of my favorite recipes in the book, my 2-corn summer salad. I love the use of corn and the different ways that we all interpret it in Latin America and in the American South. And so today I'm going to be using 2 very different varieties of corn. One is our fresh corn, fresh from the cob. In this case I have yellow, but this could be white corn. But I prefer to use the yellow one in this recipe because I'm going to actually be combining it with hominy, what we call pozole in Latin America and Mesoamerica, or mote in South America. And this is corn that has actually been soaked in lye water with lime in it, and it is to allow the corn to puff up and loosen its outer hull. And this is what is used in Latin America to make masa harina, which is the masa to make tortillas and tamales. And also in the South, it's allowed to dry on ground, and this is what you use to make grits. So I thought it would be wonderful to use both interpretations of corn in one very refreshing and easy salad to make. So in this large bowl I have here, I'm going to make a very simple vinaigrette with a little bit of lemon juice. And I like to combine lemon juice, it could be lime as well if that's what you have, with a little bit of red wine vinegar. And again, the vinegar could be the vinegar of your choice, but I like to combine the acids together because it creates a very delicious bite. You really are not having just straight vinegar, which can sometimes be very acidic, and you're not having the citrus. In combination, they just create a little bit of magic in the bowl, which I really like. And all I'm going to be doing here is seasoning it with a little bit of salt, and this will be to taste, and a little bit of freshly ground pepper. When I make vinaigrettes, as a rule, for the most part, I like to add my salt and my pepper or spices before I add the oil, because when you whisk them in, they'll actually dissolve. If you add the oil first, then the capsules, the little granules, will stay sort of floating in the oil and they won't actually completely dissolve. So then I'm gonna add my oil. There is no need to emulsify or make this dressing creamy. All I have to do is mix it together because this is actually going to become just the base for all the flavors that are going to mix in the bowl. I'm going to add some of the lemon zest, and I like to use everything that I can in my lemons and limes. I find that the zest or the skin of the lemons and limes and the citrus has a lot of the oils in it that give it flavor. So before I actually juice lemons or limes, I will zest them, and I will keep the zest frozen in my freezer to use later. I do that as a rule. So anytime that you make lemonade, make sure that you reserve that flavor capsule that is really the treasure in the citrus in the skin. So I like to add that also as a flavor booster in my vinaigrette. And now all I have to do here is very simple. I get my corn. Now I'm using fresh corn that I've scraped from the cob, but you can feel free to use frozen corn as well if it's out of season. But this is really like a summer dish, or what I like to think of as a summer dish. And of course, the delicious hominy. Now the hominy I do buy canned. You can buy fresh mote or fresh pozole in its hard form. But if I were to give you the instructions on how to soak them and then wash and then cook them until they're soft, it's like beans. They take so long that you probably wouldn't make this salad. And the canned product is very delicious. So that's what I always use for the salad. I'm a very practical cook, and I'm also busy, as all of you are. So I want to be able to cook things that I can actually make in a short time for my family. Some foods are well worth cooking for a long time, and others really you want to take advantage of the shortcuts. So this is all mixed with our vinaigrette, and now I'm just going to be adding some delicious grape tomatoes. Again, you can use any kind of tomatoes that you have, you know, grape, cherry tomatoes, chopped tomatoes, but grape tomatoes are so sweet and they're so delicious. So look at the colors. Oh, my mouth is watering. Are you getting hungry out there? And here we have some jalapeño peppers. I've already seeded and deveined these for less heat. Now, if you like it to be very spicy, feel free to leave the seeds in it and the veins in it. But I really like to seed and devein my chiles for salads. I don't like it to be too spicy. And in this case, I'm using some parsley. Again, I prefer to use flat leaf parsley rather than curly parsley for flavor. I find that it's much more flavorful than your curly parsley, but you can use whatever you have at hand. And in the summer, I like to grow a pot of parsley, and I keep that on my deck. So that's the perfect use for it. And you can add as much of it as you want. Other herbs that you could use here, of course, are cilantro, if you prefer the taste of cilantro. And you can add any herbs like chives or thyme or a little bit of chopped rosemary. But keep it light because the star of this dish really is the corn in both of its forms. And finally, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. I like to mince my garlic with a knife by hand. But if you prefer to use a garlic press, please feel free to do that. What I want you to have is the fresh taste of garlic. Garlic powder or garlic salt will not translate into this recipe, so make sure that you're using freshly minced garlic or freshly pressed garlic. And here you have it, one of my favorite salads in my book, my 2-corn summer salad. I invite you to get a copy of my book and discover all of the other delicious and flavorful recipes that I introduce you to in this new Southern Latino table. And thank you for inviting me to your kitchen. I invite you now to join me in mine. Thanks for watching.